Fantastic. And so this is going to be on record. I'm going to go live stream. That's going to hit that component on. So we are probably streaming live. Hi, everybody. This is Dr. K, and this is Level Up, and I'm here with Cardin Baxter, excuse me. And we're going to go live on LinkedIn. And so let me drop out of my LinkedIn profile pages, and we will do this now. So Baxter. Cardin, how are you doing, man? So this has been a long time. And so now that I got all of the buttons pushed, I think we could have a conversation now. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's been a really great day today so far. Actually, I had a real estate meeting earlier and got some great advice in terms of where I need to go with my business. And so it's the connections that I've been making, like more so recently, since I got out of the Navy have been fantastic and been leading my life in a lot stronger and wealthier direction.
So let's talk about that. So we met almost a year ago. So I think it was the January cohort last year that you entered into the Microsoft Software and Systems Academy. You were transitioning out of the Navy, and it's a special skill bridge program for those who are not familiar with it, who members of the audience who are not familiar. You had to make some serious choices in your life then in terms of, you getting out, what you're going to do. You already had some IT background, and this was more of a clincher to say, hey, I could kind of use this, optimize my time getting out, and then, seriously consider, where do you want to go to work? What do you want to do? And you were a fantastic student, and I think you aced that program. So talk to us a little bit about how you made that transition, which in my perspective was very successful, but I want to hear from you, and then what you did immediately after the program. And then I want to go jump into other things that you're doing.
Okay, absolutely. So really like my transition and where it really started was the first thing I had to choose is I was in Virginia. I was out here in the Hampton Roads area going through Hampton Roads cohort 7. And the big thing for me, like when I was transitioning is you have to decide a couple of like major things. Where do you want to live? Where do you want to work? And just like what kind of job are you looking for? So those are three of the major questions that I had to answer. So I knew that I wanted to work in IT because I'd been doing it for 11 years, 6 in the Navy and 4 prior. And so what I decided to do is go through the MSSA program in order to get caught up on the latest technologies, because in the Navy, they don't have cloud technologies implemented yet. And so it's like, everyone was talking about the cloud. And for me, like, like I know a cloud's a server somewhere, but I didn't really know like what it was or how to manage it. So I knew that I had to get caught up on skills. So that's what I went through the MSSA program for. And really the technical instruction as well as the professional development, very like it prepared me for when I got out. My resume was good. I knew how to interview. I could actually talk about Windows Server 2016 and above, and also like Azure Cloud, and actually ended up getting a couple of Azure certifications.
So real quick, just kind of name call. So who was your technical instructor?
It was Dr. K,
Okay, so that was me. But who actually helped you with the professional skills? And so she was also an important role for you.
Yeah, so her name is Jen Ellison. She was the professional development as well as Ermelisha Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And really like both of them like were able to help me. It was because creating a resume and interviewing is not something you have to do in the Navy.
Right. Not even going in or coming out, right?
Not going in or coming out. And it's like you also don't have to go through and start submitting job applications everywhere. We're trying to make reach out and network, because it's kind of like you're told go here, do this, be in this right uniform, show up at this time. Like everything is kind of laid out for you.
Right.
So, it was really like Jen and Ermelisha both helped me a lot with the professional development side of things. Like whereas you helped me with the technical side of things, because there was a lot of, like technologies, like especially with Azure, that I didn't understand coming out of the Navy. And that's what the MSSA program prepared me for.
And so you did all that successfully. Where did you end up after the program ended?
So I actually had kind of a crazy scenario happen. I was planning on staying out in Virginia, and then I ended up having to go back to California just last second. So it was I ended up out in Sacramento, California, out in the Northern California area, working for one of the best MSPs in my opinion,
Cool.
Fit Solutions.
Yeah.
And it was really like it was a game changing experience because it went from now we're just working at like one command to hey we're taking care of like 50 clients at one time.
And how did you
So
feel about that? Because you just came out of the Navy, you came out of a classroom. I know you had experience, but was that kind of a
it,
nervous situation, or did you really feel confident going into that?
I did feel really confident going into it. The one thing that I will say that was kind of that I really wasn't prepared for was having to deal with a Mac environment
Oh,
as well as like learning like 50 different network setups for the different clients. But luckily though, like wherever you go, I was very fortunate to have a really good team that was able to mentor me to get me caught up to speed extremely fast because I came in as a senior systems engineer.
mhm.
So they were expecting, great things out of me because I've been doing it for 11 years. And really, I showed up and I was able to perform. A
That's
lot of,
awesome.
like the basic troubleshooting. It's like, hey, cool. Just like, tell me where to go and, I'll be able to go there and fix their issues.
Which is
um,
one of the things that you really did in the classroom is, you are strong with troubleshooting and you understand the the engineering behind the administrative part. And so I think that puts you above other people, especially making that transition. You can really put yourself forward and say, hey, I can really do this. Just let me show you how.
I completely agree. There, in really like in my experience, the difference between a just like a technician and a senior technician is that a technician can tell you how to do something. A senior technician can tell you why something works the way it does, and that's really like the huge like distinguishing factor that I would say like between those two technician levels.
And I know there's lot more backstory here, but you are now back in Virginia. You are back in the Hampton Roads area, right?
Yes, I am.
And so there's a whole lot of story there that we may or may not get to today. But I know when we last talked, you are doing something really special. And I think more of it is you put yourself in this situation, you put yourself in this 90-day challenge for you to kind of really, I guess, rebrand yourself across social media platforms. And I said I would support you, and hopefully I'm doing a good job at that because I know maybe not because of me, but your YouTube channel now started at basically one or two subscribers, and you're what now 18, 19, 20, maybe more than that. So, and that's just in a week.
That's just in a week. So
Yeah,
let me kind of explain what everything behind this like 90-day challenge is.
please,
So
please.
what I started with is like I'm working on I want to create my own automation business right now. And so really it's like I'm still learning a lot into that aspect. But the one thing is that, like when you're making a new business, the most important thing is getting your name out there because a lot of people, never have their name recognized and they don't get any sort of traction because no one knows who they are.
Right, right.
And so there's a lot of marketing and also like sales experience that goes into this. But for me, like I don't even have my business yet. I'm actually still working on a business plan presently. So what I did is I wanted to tackle one of the biggest things that, would be like a huge barrier coming up for me, which is getting, followers, getting my name out there, getting people to say like, oh, like Cardin's doing something with automation. Because, if no one knows, who are they going to talk to about automation?
Mhm.
So that's why I'm just like automation, everything. And
So where I know you're on LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn now. So where else are you on social media?
so I'm actually on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Snapchat.
Wow, that's a
So
that's everything, I think. If not, I
yeah,
don't know what you're missing. I have subscribed to your YouTube channel. We're connected here on LinkedIn. Um, and I think we just connected. I think I either pushed out a connection request on Facebook or vice versa. And so I know we're connected there, but I think you mentioned 6 different platforms, and that takes a lot of time, energy, and effort. So how are you navigating 6 different platforms all in a day?
It does take a lot of time, energy, and effort. And Facebook for me right now is actually taking the most time, energy, and effort out of all of those platforms. And that's because in 1 week I went from 0 friends, 0 followers up to over 200 now as of today.
Okay.
And so I'm getting a lot of messages. Um, and it's interesting because my YouTube content, I haven't made YouTube videos before, but I'm making sure that I'm getting it out because everyone says, hey, listen, if you don't start it, you're never going to get any traction with it. So,
Right.
like I don't necessarily know what all I'm doing. Is like the best way to say it. When I'm filming YouTube videos, I still don't even have a thumbnail yet. But I'm posting it and people are reaching out to me because like they're like, oh, Cardin's making YouTube videos, like let's reach out. Like I've had a bunch of people reach out saying like, hey, we can help grow your YouTube channel. And like so I had to do some research into that and say like, yeah, like the way that your approach is maybe like not the best and might go against YouTube's terms of service, so I'm good off of that. But really it's the social media challenge is all about just getting followers. It's like I'm trying to build something. A
Mhm.
lot of people, especially transitioning members, don't have a step-by-step how to. Like, hey, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. If you want to become wealthy, like a millionaire, start your own business. There's no laid out plan for you. So what I'm trying to do with my social media post is demonstrate, hey, this is the path that you need to take, and these are the steps that you need to take in order to get there.
So in regards to that, is your content specific to that, or are you trying to do different things with your LinkedIn content versus your YouTube content versus your Facebook and so forth? Or is it all kind of just in this general idea that this is my content and I want to be consistent, or is it different across platforms?
So presently, it is similar across platforms. Really, Instagram and Facebook. Well, it's starting to separate, but all of them are based around like a core message, like, "Hey, listen, check out my YouTube channel. This is what we're doing. This is where we're going." Because like not no one recognizes a brand new YouTube channel, but they do recognize trending groups on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, all these hashtags, like
Mhm.
your connections. You're able to reach out to people and say like, hey, check this out, this is what I'm doing, and like I want to be able to provide quality content. And because I have different follower bases on each platform, it's good to ask the same question on different platforms. That way you can get different responses from different people in order to produce the best content.
So one of the things I've learned over the 2 years of doing kind of similar, but maybe not a 90-day challenge for myself, just kind of being consistent and really kind of understanding what my message is, and I've really kind of evolved and kind of matured in that manner. That it's not changed drastically, but it's like I said, it's matured in 2 years. Um, One of the things I was told is not just about being present, with your own content, but engaging with everybody else with their content. It's kind of a shared, regardless of platform, it's a shared community. Um, is that something that you're also doing, or is it just right now, are you just trying to figure out and get content out, or are you actually doing the balance of posting content and you engaging with other people's content? Just really curious on that matter.
So primarily in throughout the week. So because I'm starting my own business right now as well,
Mhm.
I have a coworker that I work with. We're working 8 to 12 hours a day
Right.
in order to actually like get this business plan ready. So presently, we're trying to get it finished by like the next 2 weeks. So I've just been pumping out content,
Okay.
and really like one of the best things that I've noticed just from doing that is the connections that will reach out to you and actually point you in the right direction of resources. Because like I know that this sounds strange, but one of the best things that you could do if you don't know what you're doing is just announce what your intention is, and people will just start responding because the people that love to do what they do and are
Right.
really good at what they do love talking about it.
Yeah.
And so it really like as long as you're posting in the right groups, you find the hashtags that you like, you find the communities that you like, people will reach out to you. And when they do, that's when you can start engaging with them. Like I actually on this Sunday, I had 4 meetings that I had to hop into just like with different people. And we were talking about some business, real estate. We had a bunch of different topics, and some of them were directly pertaining to what I was doing, and some of them were more advice towards a separate sector that I had to decline,
Mhm.
just because I don't really have the time for that. It's right now I'm just focusing on the business, getting a following, and showing what it takes to actually like go from a transitioning service member all the way up to a billionaire.
Cool. Hopefully that won't take you too long, but that's a lot of zeros behind a one, and so that may take you some time. You've mentioned real estate a couple of times, and what I would like to do is kind of bring you back for that because I think that's another whole conversation. Share what, if you don't mind, share what your business idea is all about without kind of giving away like the secret sauce right now. How are you intending on business is all about helping people. So who's your target and how are you helping people?
So really so starting off with the automation business, our primary target is going to be the IT sector, just because that's what I have experience with.
Okay.
So we're targeting IT companies, we're targeting MSPs, we're targeting school districts that have like large student turnover. Because like every year there's a bunch of manual work that has to get done.
Mhm.
And so like what we're doing is we're trying to eliminate the manual work aspect of it. So that way technicians and system engineers are able to actually focus on the troubleshooting aspect versus like for instance like user account creation, modification and deletion.
Mhm.
That's primarily what we're targeting at the start, and we're going to keep expanding services after that, and just kind of like reducing the workload and providing like a quality service that allows engineers to focus on upgrades, like implementing new solutions versus hey, we got to go take care of all these manual tasks.
Okay. And I know some of your classmates from cohort 7 either talked about interest in that area or were good in that area. Have you connected back with any of them? And if not, that's okay. I was just wondering because cohort 7 was really a special cohort. With you and your classmates. I was wondering if you kept connection with anybody.
Yeah, actually, I've reached out to a couple of our classmates so far, and like really like this isn't a joke because I've started posting this. I've had a couple of our classmates reach back out to me, say like, hey, what are you doing?
Cool. Are any of them watching? That they said would they be watching us tonight?
Possibly. I
Uh,
didn't hear anything about that.
that's okay. That's okay. Absolutely. Well, good. So, and at the same time, having your people from the Navy and the classroom and then people that you generally know, are they kind of supporting you in this 90-day challenge and, you know, getting your LinkedIn connections, those numbers up, your YouTube subscribers, those numbers up? Just kind of wondering where your organic support is starting from.
So really, there definitely is support. One of the things though is that this is something that I've noticed. It's not just about like expecting, hey, I'm gonna make a post here, and then all of a sudden I'm like all this action is gonna happen. What
Okay.
I have been doing and what's been working for me is I've actually been reaching out. I've been sending people direct messages. Hey,
Mhm.
listen, I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. I need 100 subscribers, and like currently I'm at 20. And I've been reaching out to them like, hey, would you mind subscribing? And like I can subscribe back to you. This is what I'm doing. Like if you'd like, I'd love it if you'd watch like some of the videos and give me some feedback. Because like a lot of the things, is like we've helped each other out in the past, whether it be like we worked together, we went through MSSA together, or like I've done a lot of stuff with a lot of people. And so it's really good to reach out to them and reestablish those connections.
Good.
Because like really one of my friends, like I had no idea he actually is working at General Dynamics now, and he lives like maybe like 20 minutes down the road from me.
And where
And
are you right now, by
uh
chance?
so right now I'm out in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Okay. And how are things out there?
It's it's good. And really, like I might be relocating down to Miami, or like down to somewhere down there, like towards the end of the year. So I'm excited for that.
Wow, then you just keep on moving and moving. You just don't, I don't even know what
Yo,
to say with that. You don't even have your feet on the ground. They keep running, which I guess
it's
is okay.
yeah, it's what really the biggest thing that I've noticed is that once you start getting the momentum, if you decide to stop, if you start like staggering, it's you're gonna lose momentum extremely fast. So right now I'm going in, I'm just attacking it, and I'm just doing everything, and like I'm learning as I go along. Like
Right.
for the business, I reached out, said, hey, I'm starting this. How am I gonna start a business? Like I've never touched a business before. I was in the military, right? Like it's there's a lot of unknowns, but I have that crystal clear idea in my mind. I'm starting an automation business. This is where I want to go. So you start the how to starts to work itself out the more you do research into it, because it's like the reason why I want to go down to Miami actually is there is a great sales training and business training company hosted by Grant Cardone, and it's really, for me, that's where I've seen my most personal growth is going through their programs. And so I know that, like really Miami is my next move if I want to take this business and I want to make it grow a lot faster. So it's a little voice in my head that's screaming, Miami, Miami, Miami. Like, how am I going to get to Miami? Okay, like that's what I'm going to plan out. And it's amazing because I'm just able to talk with people and then things start happening. Like when you say like, hey, I'm going to Miami, like at the end of this year, people will reach out. The connections that I've made at some of the events that I've gone to down there before have been like, hey, we're super excited to have you come down to Miami, and like I'm actually going down there in about 2 weeks to go to another convention.
Well, good. I know that there are people every day leaving the military, whether it's the Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, doesn't matter. And if they're watching this and they're seeing a veteran as yourself really step up and take on challenges that you probably didn't even know existed a year ago, you know, taking risk, taking challenges, but you don't seem to be afraid of that. And that's kind of a stumbling block for a lot of people who really want to take the entrepreneurial path. But like you said, there's no linear path. There's no how to's. There lots of people have said you need to do this, you need to do that. You're kind of taking this as today I'm going to do something to move me to tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'm going to do something that's going to move me to the next day. And I know right now you said you're in a week, like a 2 week kind of bubble to nail down your business plan. You have your business partner, and you're doing the social media thing. So those are concrete steps to move you along. And once you start doing those things, like you said, you start speaking the vocabulary, you start putting things into action. Truth be told, that environment, that community, that space that you want to become a part of actually is it becomes attracted to you. So you've kind of merged into the same space at the same time. What words, what things of advice can you kind of offer somebody who's, you know, within 180 days? So they're going to be transitioning out this year, and they may be hearing about this or listening to this, whether right now on LinkedIn or when it get recorded and placed in YouTube. What is your what is your words of wisdom for right now? You don't know everything right now, but you know some core stuff. And I've talked too much. What would you offer somebody as words of wisdom, or at least don't be afraid?
Yeah. Really, the biggest thing is for your transition. Like you're gonna have to ask yourself the hard questions. Like exactly when you're getting out, where do I want to go? That's the first and foremost. That's important. Because like for me, like I don't like really hot environments. So it's Miami's kind of ironic. But like so like really like like where do you want to go? Like what is your dream job, right? Like a lot of people that were going through the MSSA program said that they wanted to work at Microsoft. And like it's we interviewed a couple of people, did get jobs at Microsoft. A couple of people got jobs after the program graduated.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing is that a lot of people will get comfortable, and it's when you get locked into a certain pattern, you're gonna and you get comfortable with it. Like, let's say like you find like a job that pays $100,000 a year.
Okay.
And the point where you get comfortable is the point where your drive stops. Is the best way to say it. Because it's like, for me, like it's very easy to get comfortable. I have a house, I like my house, and like really I plan on selling my house and moving to an apartment. People would be like, oh wow, that's a back step. And I'm like, well, really, like I want to work towards an even bigger house, out on the beach. But like really, like you getting comfortable is your biggest danger. Just when you have a goal and you have a dream, you have a vision for yourself, don't give that up. If you don't know how to accomplish it, start posting about it. Start asking every single day. You'll start to notice people will reach out to you, because the people that love doing what they do like to talk about what they do. And so it's like, it doesn't matter what you want to do. If you want to become a millionaire and you want to start your own business, do it. Start posting about it. Hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Post it in the veteran network, the veteran mentor network. Mm-hmm. Post it on LinkedIn, post it on YouTube, start screaming it at the top of your lungs, like out in the middle of Norfolk. Like, I'm trying to become an entrepreneur. Like, I need some help. And people will come up, like they'll start talking with you. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to look at you strange, because you are making a change in your life. You're doing something where they might think it's weird because you're doing something that's uncomfortable to them. But that is really like the big thing that sets people apart from being average and, being great. Mm-hmm. Average people will be comfortable and they'll stop pushing for it. Great people will never be comfortable. They'll always want more. And it's like, it's that hunger, it's that drive that's going to push people forward. And so, the second that you get comfortable, ask yourself, is this really where I want to stay? And if the answer is no, keep doing it.
Were you comfortable, or were you always in a situation where you had that drive? You knew there was something out there for you? Because you're talking about a dynamic that is very real. And, I want to keep this to 30 minutes, and that could be a whole conversation in and of itself, because comfortable is a good feeling. I've got things, I got my house, I have my car, I've got my family, I've got my kids, I've got my toys. Comfortable is a good feeling. And when you then put yourself in a position of, there could be something more, then there's something inside of you that's driving that passion, that's driving your actions, that's driving your thoughts. And you may even be comfortable with the fact that that's where you want to be. But again, that's a conversation for another time. I want to come back to just one more thing that you've mentioned a couple of times, at least twice in our 30-minute conversation, is people who love what they do love talking about what they do. Is that do I need to coin that? Do I need to pay you royalties, or is that something that you've heard from somebody else, or is that something you came up? I love the statement. I'm going to put it on the post, when this posts to LinkedIn, either tomorrow or Friday. But tell me where that statement comes from, and because I want to end this conversation on a good note.
Yeah, really, it was something that came to me, and like it was really strange. I was down. This was actually like last December. I was in a room of a bunch of real estate investors, and all of them were talking about it. I said, like, I explained my entire situation. Hey, I'm not wealthy. What do I need to do? And so they started walking me through the exact steps that I needed to take. And if I'm being entirely honest, these people had more money than I could fathom at the time.
Okay.
And it was, like, I'm surrounded by multimillionaires, and like I got to fist bump a multi-billionaire. And so it was like, I started like listening to what they said, like it didn't make sense to me. They're just like, hey, that's not a bad thing, like it made no sense to me. So I started looking into it, and I started actually like I started working on it. And like I started seeing exactly how the wealthy people are playing the system. And like it made sense to me because I wanted to generate wealth. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, really, the people that love to do what they do, and the people that are talking about what they do, have a lot of advice that might be counterintuitive, but it's what makes them successful. So it's really the people that love what they do love to talk
Talk
about what
about
they
what they
do,
do.
and they're knowledgeable about it. So you should listen to them.
I'm gonna add that as a third, and they're knowledgeable about that. Cool. I love that. So this is what I've got. This is a 30-minute show. So Cardin, thank you so much for joining me on Level Up today. You're going down to Florida, but you're coming back, right? You're coming back
Yes.
towards the end of the month. So if we could kind of, do a part two, if that's good, you can kind of talk about your experiences going down to Miami, coming back, and then really talk about your thoughts on real estate and investing, because that's the other part of the picture. Your business is one part, real estate is another part, and they're not exactly the same, but they're both passions of yours. So I want to kind of pick up, if you have got the time, at the end of the month, we'll continue this conversation and talk about real estate investing, and your vision of becoming not just a millionaire,
A
a
billionaire.
billionaire. Let me stop the recording and let's talk a little in the back end, okay?
Sounds good.
Hey, thank you, everybody. Everybody on LinkedIn, of course, on YouTube as well. This is Dr. K with my guest, Cardin Baxter, and this is Level Up. Thank you so much.